Now to the hotly contested conservatorship of Britney Spears and tomorrow's high-stakes hearing that could end it all. Senators on Capitol Hill today held their own bipartisan hearing on what they called toxic conservatorships, looking at risks to vulnerable Americans all across the country. So was the so-called Free Britney movement right all along? And will Spears finally break free? Here's ABC's Kaylee Hartung.
I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering how I'm doing, and since the cat is out of the bag, literally out of the bag, and you guys know my situation, I do want to let you guys know things are way better than what I ever anticipated.
Conservatorship has got to go. One thing that everybody has lost sight of is what is in the best interest of Britney Spears.
Nearly every aspect of Britney Spears' life controlled for 13 years, and it could all end tomorrow.
Free Britney!
All eyes on this California courthouse, a judge to decide whether Spears will get the freedom she's been pleading for. In a recent legal filing, Spears' new high-power attorney Matthew Rosengart says following the release of a bombshell documentary from the New York Times, there is now overwhelming evidence for her father, Jamie, to be removed as her conservator immediately.
We will be moving promptly and aggressively for his removal.
After Spears' stunning testimony in June, amid pressure, even Jamie conceding that it's time for the conservatorship to end.
Jamie has now come in over the top and said, okay, you want me out, I'll do you one better. Let's end the whole conservatorship, and he's filed those papers.
But will ending it be that easy? Even with Spears now represented by the lawyer of her choosing, there may be some lasting hurdles.
It can and should probably end on the 29th, but I don't believe the court's going to act that quickly. And Matthew Rosengart himself has really proposed a plan to wind it down with a temporary conservator.
Since a public meltdown in 2008, the pop princess's finances remain under the control of her father, her career and personal life under court-appointed supervision too, even as she embarked on a wildly successful residency in Las Vegas. Multi-platinum album releases, a stint as a judge on The X Factor.
Britney, I felt like I had a connection with you.
But amid all the success, just after that 2008 court order, MTV documented a rare glimpse into how Britney felt about the conservatorship.
If I wasn't under the restraints that I'm under right now, you know, with all the lawyers and doctors and people analyzing me every day and all that kind of stuff, like if that wasn't there, I'd feel so liberated and feel like myself. I'm sad.
Let Britney choose!
And in the New York Times presents Controlling Britney Spears, insiders claim a wide-ranging surveillance operation monitored her private communications and much more.
Her phone, her own phone and her own private conversations were used so often to control her.
In the documentary, a former employee of Black Box Security, Alex Vlasov, alleges Britney's phone was mirrored.
You would be able to see all messages, all FaceTime calls, notes, browser history, photographs.
The Times reporting that mirroring text messages without the consent of both parties could be a violation of the law, and that it is unclear if the court knew about or had approved any text message monitoring. Vlasov also claiming the security firm put an audio recording device in her bedroom. Spears' lawyer, former federal prosecutor Matthew Rosengart, telling ABC News, unauthorized recording or monitoring of Britney's communications represent an unconscionable and disgraceful violation of her privacy rights, adding placing a listening device in Britney's bedroom would be particularly horrifying and corroborates so much of her compelling, poignant testimony. In response to the allegations in the documentary, a lawyer for the head of Black Box told ABC News, Mr. Yemeni and Black Box Security have a strict policy against discussing matters concerning their clients or operations. But Mr. Yemeni and Black Box have always conducted themselves within professional, ethical, and legal bounds, and they are particularly proud of their work in keeping Ms. Spears safe for many years. And an attorney for Jamie Spears telling ABC News, Jamie loves Britney unwaveringly and wants only the best for her. All of his actions were well within the parameters of the authority conferred upon him by the court. His actions were done with the knowledge and consent of Britney, her court-appointed attorney, and/or the court. Spears revealing in a new Instagram post that she watched a little bit of one of those new documentaries, writing, "It's really crazy, guys," adding, "I scratched my head a couple of times. I really try to disassociate myself from the drama." The lead up to tomorrow, capping off a whirlwind summer for Spears, beginning in June when she publicly testified for the first time in court. In a nearly 30-minute call, an emotional Spears said, "I just want my life back, and I'm not here to be anyone's slave." Shocked fans listening outside as she compared her experience of being forced to work to sex trafficking. The powerful testimony seen as vindication for her legions of fans and members of the Free Britney movement, who for years had been claiming something was wrong.
She knew that there were thousands and thousands of people out there who were 100% behind her.
I don't know where we would be today without, the Free Britney movement. It's really hard to say, but I definitely doubt that there would be this much progress in her case.
The duo behind the account Britney's Graham dissects Spears' every social post.
I'm totally fine. I'm extremely happy. I have a beautiful home, beautiful children.
But now with Spears' feelings laid bare, the star even giving Babs and Tess a shout out on her social media and using the Free Britney hashtag too.
It was wild. I mean, it just said to us like, whoa, she's paying attention, to this part of it.
The team continuing to dig, starting a podcast, Toxic.
I was in the courtroom on July 14th when she spoke again to the court, and she said that her conservators weren't allowing her to have coffee, which I know it seems like sort of a trivial thing, but that's such a basic thing to deny an adult a cup of coffee. And then you have this added layer of, if you're a Britney fan, you know how much she loves coffee.
We found out through our work that she had to use Bitcoin to just pay for apps on her phone.
Spears in a post earlier this month revealing her engagement to longtime boyfriend Sam Asghari. The 39-year-old had told the court she felt she wasn't allowed to marry while under the conservatorship. But Spears' posts still leave her fans guessing.
That after she posted that sort of subversive engagement video, that her Instagram got deleted. And then all of a sudden there's like old photos of her. So I think it remains sort of this place of mystery, honestly.
Babs and Tess will be at Spears' court hearing tomorrow, but they're also thinking about the thousands of others under conservatorship who don't have the superstar's passionate fan base.
The Free Britney movement is not just about Britney. It's about this systemic issue that Britney's story has helped shed light on. So I think even after Britney gets out, you're still going to see a lot of people in the Free Britney movement mobilized to fight for reform within the conservatorship system.
She couldn't free herself. She needed help, not from her lawyer. The judge didn't help her. It was her fans that helped her. And now we're seeing the end of the conservatorship.
Kaylee Hartung joins us now. And Kaylee, Britney and Jamie Spears have both asked for this conservatorship to end. So a two-part question here. What's holding up dissolving it, and what can we expect from tomorrow's hearings?
Yeah, so Phil, on the surface, it looks like the two sides want the same thing, but you have to keep in mind they are coming at that end goal from very different lenses. Britney Spears' team wants Jamie Spears removed from the conservatorship first. They say that is step one in the two-step process of eventually terminating the conservatorship this fall, having it formally wound down, perhaps a temporary conservator put in place in the meantime, because they recognize this is a long process that could take time, unwinding this legal agreement. I think there is some vindication they are seeking to hear a judge say it is not in Britney Spears' best interest for her father to have any more control over his life than he already has for the past 13 years. And Britney's attorney will tell you Jamie Spears' approach here of now suddenly making this about face and saying, I think it's time to dissolve this conservatorship. They say that that is him really trying to save face, sort of a defense tactic, if you will, of his own after he has been accused of, as Britney has called it, manning this abusive conservatorship for all of this time. So again, they want the same things, but they're going about it by very different means from very different perspectives. Jamie getting that conservatorship terminated tomorrow, perhaps, would mean that he's absolving himself from the wrath, the harsh criticism he would then receive if he was removed. And a lot of people think that that's what he is trying to do instead of keeping Britney Spears' best interest in mind, which is what this is all about. And that is the goal of tomorrow, to hear from a judge what is in Britney Spears' best interest, Phil.
And with that in mind, do we know yet if we are going to hear from Britney herself in court tomorrow?
We don't. Phil, we have not been able to get confirmation from Britney's attorney that she will or will not speak. But if you're a betting man, I'm willing to bet that we will hear from Britney tomorrow. That testimony she gave back in June, that first time we heard her speak publicly about the conservatorship and the way it has ruled her life to the harshest degree, That was powerful. And that is what her team is going to be leaning on, her own words, to describe what she's experienced and why Jamie Spears should no longer have control over her. We then heard her speak again in a subsequent hearing, not because it was planned, but because she wanted to. We are hearing Britney empowered, wanting to speak her mind. And again, if I'm betting on it, I think we'll hear from her tomorrow.
Well, you've been covering it since the beginning, so I'll double down on your bet. Kaylee Hartung, thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.